Okay, everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Ronzo and Podcast, otherwise known as the RPCast. Today, our topic is role playing other races. It jumped around a lot in the past couple of days, but we decided it was best just to do writing a character of a different race other than human, and the writing and literary process of doing such acts. So, we got two guests today. First one is number 2 on my potential list of waifus, Nike, and
Hi.
the second guest is number 1 on my potential list of waifus, Porty Poo, otherwise
Hey,
known
that's
as
me.
Lorja.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh.
so Lion, you wanted to talk. You can take it from here.
All right, so we got a list of questions here. Let me just pull them up real quick. It's not going to be limited to Guild Wars 2 either. It's about all races, how they treat each other. But you've seen the generic stereotypes and stuff like that. The big dumb warrior race, the small but smart race, the generic humans who specialize in almost every area. The jack of all trades, and then the forest people. There's always the forest people, the tree huggers, stuff like that. I'd like to start off with the small but smart because I've seen it so many times and it's just so bland and to me now that
But I mean, that's the standard, isn't it? Like the small races in games are usually the ones that are throwing magic around and doing all that kind of shenanigans.
either throwing magic around or it's super advanced in technology. In the Asura's case, both.
Like gnomes in World of Warcraft, wasn't that both too?
But then you've got dwarves, which are actually not that way, but are also a small race.
Yeah,
they're a
but
small
But they're the
race.
small but strong, and not so smart. So I mean, you can't really generalize completely across the board. There are differences and
Yeah,
different
but World
races.
of Warcraft has like
there.
at least 10 different races.
Who the fuck cares about WoW? WoW sucks. So you
It
know.
It was
fucking,
good once.
fucking heard that. Anyway, so like I always thought I fucking love the opposite, where you have the like Azora that has like a normal sword, but it's a great sword for them, and they walk around and just punch people in the mouth for disrespecting them.
Yeah.
You know, like the warrior, like the little baboo warrior. I'm just like, oh, you're so adorable, and then he murders you.
Child warriors.
That's the best. Children soldiers.
Children soldiers. You can't knock them out. You'll fail the mission. But
Well, I mean, that's what a lot of my friends did in pen and paper D&Ds. They'd play halfling warriors, and they were some terrifying little demons.
yeah, because they're hard to hit.
Because they would play that whole, because people would mistake them for children, and they would play it up. They would ham it up and play the child role, and then simultaneously like go neener nanny nanny from like behind the guards and shit, going, "What you gonna do to me? Ha ha ha!" And it was hilarious.
Oh wow, that's
Perfect.
actually pen and paper allows you to do that kind of shit though.
Yeah,
it is. It's kind of wonderful.
Such is the way. Porty.
So oh, go on.
No, I was going to tell you to talk because you hadn't said anything, but go on.
Yeah, I know. I was just waiting for my opportunity.
Don't be afraid to jump in. We all hate each other here.
I do hate everyone here, honestly.
I thought you loved me, Porty. I thought
No,
we had
I
fun.
don't.
You can get
I
your shit
really
out of my
don't.
house
Okay.
and move
Okay,
back.
well, maybe if you started kissing me nice at night, then I would actually have
Not on the
like
cast.
a reason to say.
Not on the cast.
Okay,
I guess I should stop masturbating. Anyway,
that's
go
fine.
on,
You can
Porty.
keep going. But yeah, I was going to talk about my character because I'm important, and my character's most important character.
Second most.
So my character is an Asura. I play Lorja, who is currently the lieutenant of the Order of Whispers division of our guild, and
Which is
basically
our
I do
guild?
the sort of same thing.
Which
Which is our
guild
guild.
Yeah, which
Shut
guild
up,
is our guild?
Ronzo.
It's the
For the viewers at
Pact
home.
53rd Battalion.
Thank you,
That is the
sweetheart.
name of the guild. Feel free to enlist today. Sign up now. We'll be waiting for you. We'll be waiting for them applications. Anyways, as I was saying, this character, Lorja's actually not a very smart Asura, as I play her as. She's stolen pretty much everything she's ever used, techno-wise, everything she's, like down to her golems. The only thing she's actually really sort of good at creating is sort of like pyrotechnics and fireworks and things which go boom. but for the most part, she's a thief, and she basically she likes to she's taken like a lot of inspiration from like past heroes and stuff, like especially like Vec, and like she yeah she basically aspires to be like this great sort of like almost like legendary hero in a sense, sort of like the same with the Norn, like legendary heroes. So I've sort of like twisted the whole, like super genius Asura thing with said character.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things about like Lorja that makes her a lot different from regular Sir. Like she has kind of an arsonist twist to her. Like anything that involves fire, she gets super involved with.
Yeah, burn the bodies.
Yeah, burn the bodies. She just it's I try to be very light on that because I've seen a lot of people who play like sort of like pyromaniac characters who are just like, ooh, burn everything. That's funny.
Some men
the
just want to
goose
watch
in
the
the
world
gas.
to
burn.
me,
Yeah.
the great thing about Lorja is, one, you get the sense that she's not a human, which is the whole point. She's an
yeah.
Asura, and the thing about playing an Asura is realizing that this entire race of people does not have ethics the same way humans have ethics. They are built on logic and reason as opposed to emotional values and concerns. So you have a lot of people of this race that are very blunt, that are very technical, and they don't quite understand when you get offended when they speak the truth, because they're going to tell you how it is. And I think Lorja encapsulates that sort of just in your face, I'm awesome and you all should believe I'm awesome because I can empirically tell you exactly how and provide graphs. And it's pretty amazing because that's what the Asura are. They are egotistical, they are ethnocentric in a certain way. That's how they've always been presented in the lore, is that they do think that they are better than everyone else for good reason because they're smarter, quote unquote. And some of them view that as they have a responsibility to the other races to inform them and spread knowledge across Tyria for the glory of the eternal alchemy. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Because it should.
Sounds like my character.
The white Asura's burden. Sad
Yeah.
but true.
That's pretty good. You used the word encapsulate in there, and I'm really fucking proud of you.
You're wonderful.
I just want you to know. I didn't.
English
I
real
won't let
good.
that go. English
I
level
try.
1.
I try so hard.
So yeah, like I always find myself in a lot of games where I just jump in and I don't have time to look at the lore. That I'll just roll. I'll look at the races and go, "Hey, that looks cool, but that looks complicated. I'm just gonna roll human." But sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like how much when you guys go to a new game, and I know I'm gonna ignore Porty on this one because all he ever plays is Guild Wars. But when you guys go to a new game, how much like research do you put into the races, like lore wise, before you jump in and make them?
0.
Well,
My
I mean-
fucking hero. Me too.
It depends on the game, because sometimes I go into it knowing how much that I know about the races. Like, for instance, Neverwinter Nights 2 games and related. I know Faerun, I know that setting really well from various other games, so I don't need to research everything. I pretty much know what's going down. I think the most recent one that I had to really learn about the races was probably Elder Scrolls and Skyrim, because I only got into that when Skyrim came out. So I wasn't around for Morrowind and Oblivion. Sorry to everybody who really loves those games. They are pretty awesome. But I haven't really played them. I played Skyrim. So learning about the entire mythos there was very interesting, but also very involved. But I enjoy that sort of thing. I'm the person who goes into games and collects the frickin' lore books and gets the achievements for it because I'm ridiculous like that. So, I mean, when I started Guild Wars and I looked at the Sylvari, I started one by playing the Sylvari all the way through the personal story and getting lore that way. And then also I looked on the wiki and I started reading because I cared. And I did all this before I decided to RP because by and large I played Guild Wars 2 in the beginning just to PvE at first. And I didn't get into RP probably until like a year after I had the game. So,
There you go.
I mean,
See,
I like to be thorough, but that's me. Other people are not. And there are ways to play other races when you don't know anything about lore or whatever that are also good ways to play. the basics are usually provided at character creation, and so you can usually use character creation to give you a sort of basic guide to a generic person of whatever race you're talking about, like the Char. You're pretty much given like Blood Legion is warriors, Ash Legion is sneaky, Iron Legion is for making shit. So you can sort of get a sense of what the race is about, even if you don't know all the specifics, and create someone who fits most of the stereotypes. It may not be fun at first, but it'll give you a way to get your feet wet and not feel like you're ridiculous in the RP community and feel like, you have nothing to learn or something. I don't know.
Jesus. Porty, well,
Yeah,
well
that's me.
said. Porty, would you like to add anything?
No.
I would like to add that she needs to calm down and be bad.
Yeah, I think this person's a bit of a fucking nerd.
She's filling out the hour. Let her do it. Let her do
Shit, y'all. You wanted me to talk, so I'm talking.
She's being our filibuster.
Yeah. So like the way I do it is when I do character creation. I think I said it on the first podcast, but I always like I have the opposite of all Titus, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I only ever really roll one character because I can't stand being like divvying my time on more than one. So I'll be fucking around on one character. So when I get to the character creation screen, I always look at all the races. Generally, I know absolutely nothing about them, and I'll go, I'm going to be looking at this character a whole hell of a lot. I better pick the coolest looking one. So in a lot of games, I'll pick like the elves or like something that looks basically human but just a little bit more edgy, because sometimes I just want to be like, I just want to embrace my inner Kale. But with Guild Wars, I got there and I'm like, I'm not really feeling any of these Star World human. And when I played the Old Republic, I went Zabrak because come on, who didn't pick Zabrak? They're the fucking tits.
I chose Cyborg.
Shut up.
I chose Zabrak. I'm with you.
So like usually, I don't go too into detail because like when I make a character, if I pick like whatever class, I always pick the simplest thing because I never really have the time to go in and look at all the lore right off the bat. So I'll just go, I'm going to have this dude and he's just going to be a random bro. And then whenever I need a question, I just grab the closest lore nerd and I pull them into a room with me and I just yell at them for an hour and and shake all the information out of them. Then usually it's pretty good. And that's my process. If anybody wanted to know the perfect process for picking a character, that's it.
I have to agree. It's a pretty good process for someone who doesn't want to do all the work themselves, because I will guarantee you there will be someone like me who did the work because they thought it was fun and will be happy to tell you everything you ever wanted to know ever.
See, it's a mutually beneficial experience. I get all the information and you get to rant about it to someone who marginally cares.
Exactly. So,
little bit of care.
Just
Bit of care goes a long way.
A smidge of relevance there.
Make that RP cookie.
All right, what's
our next question, anyway?
I'm sure there's a list somewhere, Lion.
Exactly.
I'm
I was getting that.
Well, real quick, like out of just off the top of the dome, of all the races, like in any MMO you've played or anything, what's the most fun you've had? Which race is the most fun that you've had playing? Sir, okay.
Don't.
Sir. Okay, so I need to
Take
throw
your
that
time,
out there.
Porty.
Yeah.
I need to throw that out there. I need to be the first to say that. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I'm having a lot of
One the most
fun. I'm having a lot of fun role playing the Aura in Final Fantasy 14 because I play the one from the Zayla like subcast because there's like two groups of people you can make for everyone.
I got a question. No.
Okay. It's just fun because they're from a different land and they're foreigners, so I get to role play this kind of like an ignorant kind of character who doesn't know how to read. Somehow mirrors myself in real life. But go on, ask your question.
Should all our peers of a certain race match the typical traits or mannerisms of that race? I'm pretty sure we've explained most of this, but I'm going to go ahead and say no. I mean, there's a limit to what you can actually do, but no.
The way you make an interesting character is you keep in mind the culture that you're creating in, because that culture is going to impact them no matter what. But you can sort of pick and choose which parts hit them more deeply and which parts didn't. Like, for instance, Lorja didn't pick up on the whole Asura are the smartest fucking people on the goddamn planet. She just didn't. She happens to be the average Joe Schmo Asura who would probably, if she hadn't joined the Order of Whispers, become like a freaking janitor in Radasum. I don't know. But Lorja decided that wasn't for her. She was more of a Norn, outgoing sort of person. So she decided, I'm going to join the Order of Whispers. I'm going to be a great hero and show everyone how amazing I am. Which builds on the Asura trait of, I'm fucking awesome and need to show everyone. But it also is slightly outside the box of what a normal Asura would do, which is typical of an adventurer. Me, I play Sylvari, and honestly, Sylvari and elves have been my go-to races. Generally dark elves, because dark elves are fucking awesome, but that's what I play. And I find it fun because the Fae and most races like that provide an interesting change of pace from the normal human or Char or Asura.
Thanks for talking about Lorja for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I like Lorja a lot, okay?
Yeah, I got a boner just
I like Lorja a lot.
hearing
Cordy, do you have anything left to say about your character that no one else
I actually had basically that whole thing like
I'm
in my
sorry.
head, but then she just bust in with it, so it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so back to the question about like playing characters to stereotypes or not playing to stereotypes. Like, so like Ryan said, you got to get the proper limit because when you have like humans that are Golomancers because they're raised by Azora,
a common thing.
And I start vomiting blood.
Yeah, can you not?
If I could just say the common thing with the Sylvari is that we've got a Sylvari who are constantly switching to like the Nightmare Court, and then like 1 week later they say, "Oh, I don't like the Nightmare Court anymore," and
Yeah,
they go
that's
back
bullshit.
to the Dream.
That's bullshit, and they're wrong, and I hate them.
Yeah, well, okay, I think
can't
hate
do
is an
that.
extreme word. Hate is an extreme word, but maybe that's something
You're allowed
more
to use
passive.
it. We hate each other here.
Are we allowed to
Sorry,
hate people?
I play Nightmare Court, and that's very important to me. That's very near and dear to my heart. That Nightmare is real evil. It's real corruption. You can't turn back from it.
See, this is why I play human in Guild Wars, because I've been playing since launch, and I still don't know what the fuck Nightmare Court is.
That's okay. You're allowed to.
I just kind of do my own thing.
They're basically edgy teenagers who don't like what mummy's telling them.
Not necessarily. That's.
I mean, that's how I like to think it.
It's part of it.
It's how I like to think it.
It is a part of it, and I won't deny that is part of it. But it's not the only part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, Kay Darren had some legitimate concerns.
I'm outlining it for our Scrub Lord Ranzo here.
That's fair. I mean, I didn't want you to explain it, and I'm going to do the best I can to just throw that information out.
Exactly.
But thank you for taking the time.
It's okay. I'm just trying to make this podcast better.
So, another question we had asked is, after everything, and this is specifically Guild Wars based, after a certain thing happening in Heart of Thorns, and I'm hoping you guys know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, well, we'll just have to move on. Could you see them making a race based around Glint Jr. or anything like that?
Glint
not
Jr.
a race.
Not a race.
No. Like, is Glint Jr. going to appear?
Oh.
I mean, like...
Is Glint Jr. going to become the next Traherne? I would bet money on it,
Dragon Jesus.
Okay, so what you're asking is, would Dragon be a race? Yeah, because Glint
not what
was
I'm
a dragon,
asking, but what somebody asked.
What someone asked. I'm sorry, but you were asking me what they asked, so technically it was you asking. So
don't be a twat. Just answer the question.
Okay, I don't want to now.
Okay.
I'm too salty.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna move on then because Porty has to derail the podcast.
All right. What about RPing characters from races that are basically irredeemable?
That's a lot of fun, and that's what I do.
Oh, and there's
a Nightmare Court guild.
So yeah, there's a good question on the opposite side of that coin too. But so define irredeemable.
Like their race has done something so horrendous, like they've pretty much caused the genocide of maybe like another race, or they've killed the god of another race. That just to the point, it's like they could never be allies under any circumstances.
I think I think that doesn't really work in most roleplay communities because people are gonna roleplay those people anyway and just say no, and then people find a way to make it work whether it makes sense or not.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not even that. I think you're going a little too far with the irredeemable point. It's irredeemable doesn't mean that they cannot ever be worked with, but it really gets to the root of good and evil. Are
Yeah.
these people irredeemably evil? And the question is, yes, you can play irredeemable evil. The Nightmare Court is an irredeemable evil. You cannot change from Nightmare Court back to being a dreamer. It is a permanent corruption of the dream. You
Yeah.
can't go back. There's no going back after that.
Right,
You
but
have an
like,
instinctual urge to cause suffering in others after you turn to the Nightmare Court, and that's an evil act to want to see suffering in other people. But does that mean that they will never be allies with dreamers or allies with other people who have similar goals to them? False. You can always find reasons to accompany people who are of different moral alignment than you if you have similar goals. I mean, then people without morals, the evil people, are like, well, my goals are still being accomplished, and I might be able to fuck over these good people. That sounds like fun. Let's do it. Good people sit there and try and justify themselves in their own moral compass of, oh, they're not that bad. Oh, they're helping me, thus they must not be that bad. Even though they kind of are. But I mean, that's natural. That's what happens in the real world, is you try and create these alliances that end up most of the time being temporary, but sometimes less temporary. But that's interesting. It gives people growth on both sides of the equation. The good people start looking at good critically, and the evil people start looking at, wow, maybe they might start feeling guilt. Who knows?
I mean, like, if we're talking about like irredeemable, though, I mean, if I thought of irredeemable, I wouldn't be thinking about like Nightmare Courtiers, because I mean, like, there was that one Savari from the personal story who was, I don't know, sort of worked with the player character, but I don't know much about that. But
Oh, Gavin?
yeah, Gavin,
Talking
that's
about
his name.
Gavin? Well, he
Yeah.
was irredeemably evil, but
Yeah,
you
I know,
didn't know he was evil. He
but
wasn't
I'm talking.
So what
I mean,
about like
overt.
we could
when I
use
think of
as an
irredeemable,
example? As an example, we could
Go
use
ahead.
maybe the Sith pureblood from Star Wars. Like their race is legitimately tied to the dark side in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider them irredeemable?
That depends on how you view the dark side of the force, because the dark side of the force isn't necessarily evil either. It's about passion and feeling and sure violence, but not necessarily evil. The
okay, but
subjugation of the entire empire because they think that they're better than everyone else, now that's evil,
That's
and that's
fair.
probably
Now I
irredeemable.
want to cut you off. I want to just let's let
Go
40
ahead,
get a
let's have
sentence
other
out.
people.
thank you. But as I was saying, like, what if we like, sort of in the case, like, if because I'm going back to Guild Wars 2, if say you could play like a centaur, okay? Centaurs are seen as basically as like I would consider like centaurs like an irredeemable race because they're at like constant war with humans, and I mean like you see like other races up against the centaurs, like sort of fighting, like there's that mercenary company fighting them, and the only real centaurs we see which are sort of allied are the ones in the Silver Wastes. But other than that, I mean like you couldn't play like a centaur in Divinity's Reach, for example. That is a race which is just considered irredeemable to the point you can't just walk into like the main human city, or probably any city really, and not expect like some sort of like massive retaliation. So I guess the only sort of place you could sort of like play these sort of irredeemable races are like, in like specified guilds with like other people playing the same sort of like
Yeah.
race or
Or otherwise,
alignment.
it would have to be like a big deal. Like, oh, this guy's coming to
Yeah.
the city. Let's prepare for it. So on the other
Yeah.
side of that coin, when you have like races, like again, I'm going to go back to Final Fantasy because I've been playing it recently with the Elra who have been thrown out of their lands by a group, by a certain group of people. How do you role play as one of the subjugated race interacting with citizens from the group that helped like threw them out of their homeland? Do you always play as like spiteful and hateful towards them, or how do you think how would you go about doing something like that? Anyone at all?
I can understand, them being angry. You lost your home, And it's only fair that you do get angry, but it's hard to be angry at a single person for what they are, in a sense.
See, it doesn't make sense from the outside looking in, but when you're that one person and like you've lost everything and then you have to lash out and it might not
Yeah.
make sense lashing out to someone who maybe had like who's affiliated with the group, who might be from that country or that group,
Mhm.
but had nothing to do with the ousting of your people. It makes more sense when you're on the inside like lashing out than just looking at it, because when you just go, oh, you're being silly, don't be silly, that they had nothing to do with it. That you don't understand, like your character is standing on the outside, you don't understand what it's like.
Yeah. So it depends on how you've interpreted your character as internalizing that conflict. I mean, there are some people who are in those slavery situations who take the whole higher route of acceptance and, you know what, I'm not going to be angry about it. It's just we were the losers this time, whatever. I just want to get on with my life and not be bothered. So if you're not a dick to me, I'm not going to be a dick to you. But then there's the people who really got very angry about it on a personal and societal level because they knew it was wrong the whole time. Like, you took my family, you took my friends, you took my home, everything was taken from me, and now you're going to sit here and try and act like nothing's wrong, and they'll go off on that other person. But it's really thinking about how your character would react in that situation and how the other person on the other side of the equation is acting. I bet you, if I was of this race that we were talking about, Final Fantasy 14, right? And I'm one of the subjugated races, and one of the people who subjugated my race is coming in acting like he's the fucking king of Sheba, I'm probably going to get really fucking angry, and I'm probably going to try and punch him in the face. So, but if he acts like a generally nice person, I might try and rein in that instinct to keep the peace. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just definitely one of the things, like when you talk like a character's like racial traits and everything, you talk like, dwarves are short and strong and stuff, but you always have to consider, social traits as well, as in like who that race would, gets along with, who they don't get along with.
racial
That's
tensions.
Yeah.
tensions. Yeah, absolutely. Always things you have to keep in mind when you make a character of a different race, whether it's tabletop, any MMO, or you're just writing a story. You have to consider like the background any character is going to have before you make them.
Oh yeah. It's definitely an important part of role play, and it's good to at least glance over the basic history of that race to figure out how to play them best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, an example from my RP is I have a Sylvari who was very heavily impacted from what the Asura did to these Sylvari in the beginning of their race, where they kidnapped a bunch of Secondborn, did terrible, terrible experiments on them because they didn't view them as a sentient race. And my character takes immense offense to that and hates Asura, hates them. She has this very deep-seated racism towards them. She thinks they're disgusting, arrogant know-it-alls, and all kinds of other things.
Which is
So whenever
basically
she's in a
true.
room with an Asura, she's avoids speaking to them at all possible. She's usually nasty or curt to them when they speak. And while she may not go out of her way to kill them like in the room and like be outwardly violent, you know that if she encountered them in a dark alley, they probably wouldn't be coming out of it.
Dank.
But then I also have a human character who never really had the tension with Char that other humans had, because she never had a reason to. She grew up in a privileged household and was never really in contact with Char that ever wanted to kill her. So she
Yeah.
never saw the reason why people hated them so much.
I always felt weird about that. Like I always felt weird about having a character of a certain race who would hate another race of people who doesn't hate that race of people, because I always feel like it's a little special snowflake. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, and it would be the first time I'd ever been wrong ever. But like I always feel whenever I make a character like that, I have to have them be like that, because whenever I see people go, oh, I'm from this race that was oppressed or has been fighting this race for however many years, and I think everyone's stupid, and I think this is why. I'm like, oh, that's dumb. You should hate them. Everyone should hate each other. Like,
but
I think
I
when you
think it
come
all
into
depends on how it's done.
Bring to everybody together with the combined salt.
yeah, like I think I think when you write the character, at least in the way I would do it, when I write the character will hate them with every fiber of their being. But through IC interaction, if it goes goes left or right, he might end up being more friendly to them, or even liking them, or he might hate them even more. Because there's a whole lot that goes into it. And we lost Nike there's Nike, but yeah, there's a whole there's basically when I roll a race in a game, I want the whole experience. I want if the character hates if the character's supposed to hate someone, I'm going to do it because I want the experience of it.
Yeah,
I got you. I mean, I cut out for a second there, so I might have missed you all responding, but I think it really depends on how you do it. I would have never had Nike, as you all know her, not hate Char if there wasn't a reason for her not to hate Char. Like, if she was someone who grew up in Ebonhawk, no, she would have hated Char, but she grew up in a sheltered noble's home in Divinity's Reach, where she never left home before she was 18. Like, she has no contact with these people beyond what she had in the Pact and the Vigil, which by and large were generally positive interactions. So she didn't really see or feel the need to hate. She was also someone who believed in Dwayna's teaching, so she tried her best not to hate people in general.
all right. I'm gonna ask a more personalized question here. Oh, Porty, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
No,
I was gonna
do you have anything to add, Porty?
No,
Yeah.
my insight won't be too much more to what everyone else has already said.
Because Carrie's saying it all. Jesus Christ.
It's Kari, thank you.
Whatever.
I was going to mention like how my character has sort of like that Joanna thing about
Oh yeah.
them, but yeah, she's already fucking said that, so I can't
But
fucking.
this personalized question is: what is the worst race you've ever seen in any MMO ever? Like you
Azora.
just flat out hate.
Azora.
Okay, so excuse me.
Fucking hate Azora.
So excuse me.
I think they're
You need to
their
get that
voices
foot
are
out of
annoying.
your mouth.
You need to suck my dick because I'm speaking. I think they look stupid. I think they sound stupid. I fucking hate them. I hate the people that roleplay them, especially 40.
As Nike types out her complaint to ANET to get Ronzo fucking banned.
What? No.
Report for cyberbullying.
I can't stand them. And to be entirely honest, the only races that I don't hate in Guild Wars are the humans, marginally because that would be weird if I did, and the Norn. Like I don't like the Char. I think the Char is stupid. I hate Sylvari because they're just dumber versions of elves. I hate the Azora because I can't stand looking at them.
They're little
I love
shark rat.
Asura. Asura are great, and they look like tiny little land sharks. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's terrible. I hate it.
I mean,
Like, Go on.
I was just gonna say the only races I actually hate are just like some of the non-playable ones.
Yeah, those count.
Okay, cool. Because I fucking hate the Tengu. They're just okay.
Yeah.
So everyone wants the Tengu as a playable race, right?
No, you just hate wooden potatoes.
Okay, no, I hate wooden potatoes. That's a true point, but that's not the point I'm making here. I'm making the point that everyone wants fucking Tengu as a playable race. Everyone I talk to, and I don't understand why. They're a bunch of xenophobic bumholes who hide away.
A lot of them are cowards. A lot of them are cowards.
They're just complete cowards, and they've just been putting up signs everywhere like, "Oh no, trespassing," and it's just they're literally just xenophobic cowards.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, when they got fucked over in Cantha, right? They got pretty fucked over in Cantha, so they have a right to be
fucked over in Cantha.
They have,
but they were still xenophobic cowards.
Guys,
they were as well.
if we're gonna talk about the Tengu, we got to talk about the Centaur because essentially they're both very similar races. They're tribal races that have been pushed out of their lands by humans, and have then become xenophobic and hatred towards humans because humans have systematically genocided them out of their land. Which again is a harken back to our historical significance, people.
Humans are the best. Humans are the
best. Let's all remember how America was founded. Centaurs are not cowards, and yes, you are correct in that. That's where the Tengu and the Centaurs separate themselves. Is the Tengu just said, you know what, we're not fighting, we're just gonna hide and hope that everyone forgets we exist. Where the Centaurs are like, no, screw that, I'm gonna kill them all.
Isn't it easier to hide when you can fly?
It is.
I mean, they're just utterly assholes, though. Like, if you remember the Attack on Lions arch, if you were to approach to the wall of their Tengu, they'll just start fucking shooting you. Like, okay, thanks for your assistance.
No. Let it happen.
A fucking, I don't know. Like
The
for
race
me,
war
I
starts
can't-
now.
I can't stand like if we're talking like non-playable races too. Like to go out of the Guild Wars thing, I hate Wookiees.
You hate Wookiees.
I hate Wookiees in games because I love Wookiees in the hate them in any MMO capacity because when you beat them in a fist fight, I always scream at my computer because I shouldn't have. That's dumb. They're the strongest. What else do I hate? I hate a lot of things. I hate basically
They lost
tiny.
in Clone Wars.
I hate
tiny
Quaggins.
races. I actually like the Quaggins.
I
Quaggins
hate
are alright.
Quaggins.
I like
hate
the Quaggins.
Quaggins.
I like Quaggins because they got little derpy T-Rex arms, but they fucking try.
They try
Like,
so
I
hard.
will say
Like
that
they're the
they
only
try.
little race I hate every little race in almost every game. I hate gnomes. I hate dwarves. I hate Azora. I hate Lalafell. I fucking hate Lalafell.
You ever play Terra?
No, and I never will.
You'll probably hate two of the races in there. One's
I played Lord of the Rings.
clad
I played
girl
Lord of the
who's like
Rings on-
thousands of years old.
I played Lord of the Rings online, and like
Hobbits.
from a lore standard, I guess I hate the hobbits. From a lore standard, it didn't make any sense because you had elves just fucking chilling in Bree. It's like, oh, we have these immortal lives in these giant, great cities, but no, we're gonna fucking hang out in this shithole bar. Oh, and then people role playing as
Honestly.
vampires. Vampires in any race make me upset because when
They
I
don't
see one,
sparkle?
I'm like, no, because when I see one version of any kind of vampire, I just go, oh fuck, now everyone's gonna want to be one, even though it makes no goddamn sense. And to answer everyone's question, no, I'm not a human supremacist. I like Norn because I like the big dumb races too. Like I like Norn, I liked orcs, and like I didn't really like trolls because they look stupid. But-
Trolls are ugly.
Yeah, but
They're
like
meant to be, but-
I liked almost all the races in the Old Republic. I didn't like the green people because fucking they're stupid. They're green. Like
The
who cares?
Morellan?
Yeah, the Morellians. I
I
didn't
like
like
the
them because
Morellan.
they're just stupid green people. I like this.
They are not.
The Zabrak are the strongest because I remember because that's one of the few races outside of human that I've been in an MMO, and I did, and they're just so much fun to play because they're so hard to kill. And when you roleplay characters the way I roleplay characters, people try to kill them a lot. So having a character who is very hard to kill is great.
Can I maybe change the question a little bit and say,
Go
like,
ahead.
talk about like races I generally like, not hate, but roleplay hate.
That was basically what I was going off of. I hate all those
Yeah.
classes. Like I hate
Well,
people yeah.
Like, okay, so I love the Asura, but I actually hate most of the Asura role players in general. I just
Oh,
wanted to
God.
say
They
because
exist. That's my problem
Well,
with them. Is
some-
like I literally can't find them.
well, no, I actually find a lot of them. It's just a lot of them also tend to just play Asura as basically big-eared sort
Well,
of
Porty,
humans.
let's not try to insult anyone. But what I think what you're trying to say is you don't like people who roleplay the race but don't roleplay it properly.
Yeah.
And I mean that's
Yeah, I get-
understandable.
That's with any race, I feel,
Yeah.
and it's in every game because I've been there in Dungeons and Dragons where I have people trying to play elves as pointy-eared humans, and I raged for days. But that's end of statement. Any race, if you do that, if you play the race as a goddamn whatever that race is, but a human mentality, you are doing it wrong, and I will tell you that.
You
Just
should
hands down, you're doing it wrong.
You should roleplay a human as whatever other race you want. Just be like,
Yeah.
I'm human, but I identify as a barrel of char.
Oh god.
Sort of ties back into the question we had earlier with about the how special snowflakey do you
Yeah.
make a character?
I'm a human, but I identify as a tree. Oh, so okay, you're a druid.
To be honest, that would
Pretty
actually
good.
be a pretty interesting human character because
Yeah, I
humans
would-
do crazy shit like that. That's actually a human character trait, is to be kind of insane.
Yeah, you've
And
just
that's
given me
okay.
my next character idea.
Yeah.
Fucking
would
Porty's
be
just
money.
Too
like
late, motherfucker. I'm already in the character selection screen.
Porty's under his breath. He's just like, holy shit. And then he's just like writing it down on a notepad. He's like, I gotta remember this.
God.
Furiously jotting it down notes.
Although it would be
Wiping brow-
really
sweat
interesting
from
to
his
see
brow.
someone try and RP a human that identifies as a barrel of monkeys. How many monkeys are in the barrel? What's each monkey's personality? Do they have a bearing on his personality?
No, I
That's
identify as a
fascinating,
barrel
okay?
full of monkeys. I identify as a barrel full
Look
of
what
monkeys.
I
How
have
many monkeys
done.
is that?
I
That's
did-
personal.
I did this. I hate it.
You don't know
Okay,
me enough
so
to know about my monkeys.
Let's steer this away from barrels and monkeys and all that jargon. So if you could, we talked about least favorite race. If you could make in any game, any non-playable race into a playable race, who would you pick? And Porty goes first because I want him to be able to get a fucking word in.
Fuck you.
If I was to make any race playable,
Please don't say Azura again.
well, no. Actually, I don't know. If the Guild Wars were talking, I mean, like it would probably be.
I
either
said
the
any
Spring-
game. Like you can, if you
Oh,
want to list a
yeah,
few.
well,
you-
I want to talk about Guild Wars 2 because it's my favorite game.
oh
now-
my god.
Probably actually Quaggins because, not because of any particular reason other than I sort of want to make a Quaggin that you can sort of customize them in their normal Quaggin form, and then when you're in combat, you sort of have their, like, rage form, and I want to be able to customize that, what they look like in their rage form.
It's pretty good.
hmm
That's the only reason.
Nike, go ahead.
I'm gonna be the person who says Largos because one, we don't know enough about them and I want to learn about them, and by making them a playable race, they have to put some sort of lore out on them. Also because they remind me of Drow, and as I said before, Dark Elves have always been probably my number one favorite race in any setting forever. The end.
So I just had to
So-
Google them because I didn't know who the fuck you were talking about, and so you just
They're-
want to play a race of dark elf looking Sephiroth people.
They look like Dark Elves with frickin' butterfly wings, and they live under the sea. Yes, it
Under
plays to
the
all my
sea.
mermaid
Yeah,
fantasies.
They're
Okay,
basically fish assassins, basically.
they're fish assassins, and I love them. Okay,
Butterfly fish assassins.
Oh,
I
so-
dig it. I dig it.
So for me, I've got a few. So looking at the Largos, yeah, that would be pretty dank. I would roll one of those, and I would I would
Exactly,
just
right?
I would make Ronzo just be one. It's like, oh, I was this all along. But no, so to take it away from Guild Wars just for a little bit, in Star Wars, the Old Republic, there are so many fucking races that they could add to that game that would make me go back to it, despite how much I hate that game. The Keldor, which is, if you don't know, it's the Plo Koon race, like the dude with the orange fucked up heads and the face masks,
Got you.
or Kit Fisto, I forget the name of his race, like the green dudes with the tentacle heads. Just, there are
Yeah.
like so many cool races in that game that you can beat the shit out of countless goons who are of that race, but you can't beat it.
On a side note, Kit Fisto sounds like the worst porn name I've ever heard.
Or the
no,
best.
he was a Jedi master.
Yeah, I
wasn't
know.
he?
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
he
he-
was.
yeah,
But
he
every
ate
time
shit.
I hear Kit Fisto's name, I chuckle because I'm immature and I'm a child.
True. And their race is like called Aqua something or others, and they're
Aqua-
from a water
Aqua-
planet.
Aquafina.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was some variation on that, because I did look them up once. Because I agree, if Star Wars: The Old Republic had that race, I'd be down with it.
I'd play it. I'd
So
play it.
much more.
I'd go back to it. Like, I wish, like in terms of what other games have I played that matter? Like, they could be basically most races in a lot of games. And Guild Wars specifically, I would want to be a fucking centaur because of how stupid that would be. Just roll up to the bar because you would have to come up with an excuse for them to be in the city, and everyone would probably be okay with it. Just roll up to the bar with your fucking big horse feet, knock everything off everybody's table by accident, and
Don't
just
they do
like,
that anyway with tonics though?
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
but,
think
like,
there's a
do that all
centaur
the
tonic.
time.
Is there? I don't think
I
there's
don't
a
know
centaur
if there
tonic.
is. but
I think it's part of a random tonic that randomly turns you into one.
I think I would like to see that though, purely for like the daredevil roles. That would be on the fucking Centaur. You see the Centaur do this giant fucking flip in the air and landing back down to the ground with this
Oh
big
my.
gun.
I think Zabrak should be a playable race in every game.
Yeah.
That's how much I love them. That's how much I think they should be in every game. I don't think it should make any. I don't think anyone should explain it either. I think it should just happen.
Oh my god.
Zabrak, the cooler humans.
And I want
The
them to
end.
make. And you know what? And just one last thing. I want them to make a legitimate black mage race in Final Fantasy, where it's just like the dudes in the little outfits, and they just have two eyes poking out from behind their head. You never see what their face looks like because they just got the hat.
It's just a
on.
wall of blackness
It's
under
just
a hood.
Yeah, it's just the blackness.
The only thing you get to customize is the hood
Yeah,
and the way
I
your
think
eyes
that would
glow.
be. I think that would be the coolest race because it would just be such a throwback, and it would be. I would love it. Like I don't even know how many Final Fantasies have done that outside of 9, but I would be all about it. But God doesn't love me, so that's not a thing.
No one loves you.
I don't think I have really any races that I'm just like I have to play that because I've always played humans just because I just don't aesthetically wise I don't like the other races.
Like I said, when I do it, I always pick the race that looks the coolest, and if none of them look that cool, I just go back. I go to human. Like,
Yeah.
because
Like-
Zabrak is the coolest, Al Ra is the coolest, but like I don't really want to be a little. I hate Azora and I hate Sylvari, and I don't want to be a stupid cat. And as much as I'd like to be a Norn,
I don't like Norns because they seem so traditionalist and
They
just
They're actually not, but what makes me really sad about Norn is that the RP community, from what I've seen for Norn, is very small because most people do choose to be instead humans or something else.
Jormag's curse.
And,
people don't want
yeah.
to roleplay as Fudas, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Norn sort of confused me though, just as a sort of Guild Wars 1 player, just because from the first game they were so much more traditional in the sense like you know, with their shape shifting, like in their society, if you didn't have like this shape shifting ability, then you would be an outcast. You'd be like a fucking
Because you'd lost favor with the
disgusting.
spirits of the wild.
Yeah,
like,
you've lost your favor
that
with the
was
spirits of the wild.
legit. Oh my god.
Whilst
But that's
now,
probably what makes me so
yeah.
sad, is that the
But
Norn are
now-
not nearly as cool. Sorry, go
in
ahead.
Guild Wars, in Guild Wars 2, it's not like that anymore. It's sort of you don't really see them use their shape shifting ability
It
anymore.
might be because
at
the
all.
spirits are like because of Jormag pushing them out of from where they lived, and some of the spirits even died protecting the Norn. That it's probably not as easy to do so.
I guess. Shit. Is there any other questions we got? Is there anything else to add?
I just can't think of any race that I absolutely have to play.
Zabrak, man.
I
We
guess-
just went over it.
No,
Darth
fuck
Maul every day.
no. How about you eat shit and shut up for a while?
No, I can't do it.
I guess if I had to choose, it'd be the Crate, even though they're an enemy race. I'd like to play Snake People.
What are you, fucking idiot?
Yeah,
That's dumb.
kinda.
No,
No,
like I'm down with that. The Crate would be a really cool race.
yeah.
I would like to play as Fawnir.
I'd just like to play Elder
blue
Dragon.
Norn.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah,
Swanir
Elder
aren't a race though. They're just
I know,
a
but like-
faction.
But like games do that though, where you have basically just a different version of one, of a.
I know,
of a
but
race.
I think that's lame. You
I
can
think
play as
that's
Svanir.
alright.
Like you can do that. You could make a Norn that follows Svanir's tenets and play
Yeah,
as
but I
a son
want
of
him to be
Svanir.
blue. I want them to be blue. Aren't they blue?
You can make yourself as pasty frickin' white as possible, which kind of looks sort of blue tinted,
I
and then
want
have
to be a blue
blue
Norn.
tattoos.
I want to be able to blue Norn. I think that's one thing that I know of the Old Republic and it's they kind of do the races all right in that game.
I
Not
love
much
the
else.
Ratataki.
Like you basically eat like Zabrak in general and specifically on the Republic side. If you make a Zabrak, they look different than the ones on the Imperial side. You have different customization choices because it's different cultures, and I thought that was cool. And if you max the character out to max level on one side, then you could use those styling things on the other. But they counted as two different races. There is Republic Zabrak.
Because they were
And
different
there's-
races. Ones were Dambrathians and were actually mixed with different things than the other race that didn't
that's
have
how
that
they
contact.
Well, that's how they explain it. But
No,
it's,
that's just actually the lore behind the Redskin Zabraks as opposed to the pale ones.
well, yeah, that's how they explain it though. Like, it's still like you can do that. Like you could have humans and then you could have cyborgs who are just the same thing with a little bit of difference. I think it's all right to make races in games where, like especially for role playing, that helps. If you can have a race that might be similar but it might be different. Like World of Warcraft had the wargs, which were basically humans, but they could go into Wolfman mode, which I I I never fucking played. I never even role played in that game, but I thought it was an all right idea. I'm like, hey, I can be Wolfman now.
Well, that's kind of what I like about Elder Scrolls Online is you get a bunch of people selling werewolf bites or vampire bites in order to become actually a vampire or werewolf. It's not just an RP thing. You can actually be these things, and they have stat bonuses and detriments.
I
That's the
won't be
one game I
satisfied
allowed
until I can be a werebear.
That's a thing, though. That's actually in Elder Scrolls lore, and I love it.
Werebears.
Yeah, but
You
they're
actually
rare.
hunt one down.
Yeah,
They're rare as hell though.
yeah, that's cool. I like the idea of like a roleplay community like ICly selling bites and stuff because I didn't hang around in the
Hey,
on
kid,
Elder
you won't
Scrolls.
be a werewolf.
Yo, man,
Only
I got
25 gold.
Yo, I got $5 per bite. $5 per bite. They got garbage down the way. No, you go to me. No, like I like the idea of that kind of stuff happening because I didn't hang out enough in Elder Scrolls Online before I stopped playing because I know that there was probably just fucking times where you'd be in a bar and there'd be like 20 people in there and every single one of them would be either vampire or werewolf to the point where people wanting to be unique were just being normal people.
That's the thing.
Or they're hunters.
Yeah, to be special snowflake was not to be a special snowflake. Like that.
That's what ends up happening in one of my other favorite settings, which is Planescape, where you're out on the plains and Dungeons and Dragons, where you're like visiting heaven and hell every other day and that sort of shit.
Like
to be a special snowflake is to be the human amidst all these fucking crazy people.
I'm just here for the gold.
I did that kind of thing with when I made Ronzo, and I was like, I need to come up with a backstory for him because I just kind of threw him together. I was like, okay, he's going to be runaway noble because I don't think anybody's done that yet. And then it turns out every single thief in the fucking game had the exact same backstory. I was in a thief guild, and I think there was one person out of like 30 people who had a different backstory. It was like every single noble in the city just up and fucked off. Became a thief.
Crazy. What's crazy is like my one thief character that was a human, she was the person who came from like the streets and was in the circus and shit. That was her backstory. I was about that.
All right, well, I like that. So I think we've covered up. We've got like almost a solid hour down. Does anybody have anything to end? Let me see. Any other questions?
Well, one of our viewers asked a question if like variety within a race, such as like say the Khajiit, who can be different, kinds of cats, stuff like that. I stuff like that I think is awesome. I like variety.
No, yeah, if it makes
more
sense.
customization, please.
If it makes sense, sure, go for it.
Final Fantasy does it well, to which it's like, okay, you have your race, and then there's two different types of that race. Like if you chose the humans, which are called here, there's the what was it, the Highlanders and
there's basically normal humans, and then there's Norn. That's the best way to explain.
And then if you chose the Makode, there was the ones born in the sun and the ones born in the moon.
And then like so on and so forth. Every race has two different things that you pick from.
Yeah.
And that it's so if you have actual like lore things that make sense that you can go and customize your character, then fucking go for it. Like you can, if it makes sense, if it's a real thing, then you can do it, and then it makes the community better because you've got so much diversity. But what makes it bad is when you have people who are doing things that don't make sense. Like when you have, like I said before, humans who for some reason were brought up in Radisum and were taught Golomancy and all that shit. Like
exactly, when there's nothing in lore to back that up, that even Asura would want a human child. Like they wouldn't just kill it to put it out of its misery.
If anything, if it was picked up by the Inquest, they might like experiment on it. Just
exactly. Like
how many things can we fit in this human's butt?
We're talking about a race of people, the Asura, who would kill their own children if they were disabled. Like, they do the Sparta shit. That's a
You
thing
know, for
with their
science.
progeny.
For science.
I've seen a few people try and justify it with like the whole Scarlet excuse, like, oh, Scarlet was taught in, by
Scarlet
the
was
Asura,
taught because she was a Sylvari, and they viewed her as a experiment. She wasn't a person.
Exactly.
She was never
Not
considered
even
a
people.
person.
Not even people.
Even people.
Just a fucking tree. That's all she is.
She was a pet tree. She did tricks. They
I
let her
remember my
in
first
to all the
pet
different
dog.
colleges because they were like, oh, look at the monkey trying to do tricks. Isn't that so cute?
Give it a
And then
That's
cigar,
what
see
they
if it'll
thought,
smoke.
okay?
Monkey learned too much. Monkey learned too much. Drop the bomb.
Exactly.
Just codename Monkey learn too much.
Rise of the Apes.
That's pretty dank.
But that's accurate. That is exactly what happened.
Well,
But-
she fucking deserved it because
Oh, she did.
she went too close to the Azora, and the Azora are terrible. Everyone should leave them alone.
She also
Yeah.
deserved it because she was just an annoying character, honestly, in my
She was just
opinion.
terrible.
I don't know anything
be
about
honest.
Scarlet because I was gone for that entire because I had stopped playing from basically before Scarlet happened, and I came back after it happened. And all I know is before it, I was like, okay, everybody's cool with Sylvari, and I came back, and everyone's like, fuck Scarlet, and I'm like, all right, cool.
I was there for the Molten Alliance, and then I was gone for everything else and came back for season 2, and I was just like, Lion's Arch was destroyed and all this bullshit. And then the entirety of season 2, like the first half of it, is finding out what the fuck Scarlet just did. So I was like, oh, that's a nice refresher course. This is why we hate her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still don't know, man.
Yeah,
Why do I not care?
I remember coming back and like it's like, oh, I'll just go to Lion's Charge, and then I went in, and then like everything's in ruins, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Sea Lion, if you had never left, you would have been there to prevent that.
Nah,
That's fair.
It's blood's on your hands, mate.
Yeah, blood is on your hands.
yeah. This
All right,
is my
any
fault.
closing statements? Anyone? Does anyone have anything else to say?
You know I know I do, but I'm not going to.
I like
Burn
the
the
I know
Asura
you.
a
I
lot.
was hoping you would
Rams
say
is
that.
wrong.
Burn the bodies.
I
Burn the
can't have a
bodies.
wrong opinion. I
Burn
just
the bodies.
like
That's what I
races.
want to end this
It's
on.
not the Azora in particular. I mean, what is the Azora in particular? But I hate small races. I can't. I fucking hate looking at them. I think every race should just look like Ronzo. I think Ronzo should be his own race. I think that's perfect.
I would pretty
A bunch
much
of-
quit Guild Wars 2 if
Just a bunch
Ronzo
of
was a race.
just a bunch of one-eyed fucking suave bastards just walking down the street.
Uh,
Oh,
Well,
I've
you know
dropped
what?
everything.
No one cares about Ronzo.
We need a
What
bunch
care
of
about is the Asura with their fucking sharp teeth looking like little Stitch
You know you're full of shit.
minis.
You
And they
know
are
you're full of
beautiful.
all right,
shit.
guys.
It's
All
a
right,
cinch.
guys.
I'm
All
so
right,
close.
guys. We gotta
Wait,
close
one more
out.
thing. One more thing. I want a Mike Wazowski race on the idea of one eye. I think
Oh
that
my
would be
God.
good.
Mike Wazowski.
Anyway,
They
this has
exist
been
in Final Fantasy.
RPCast. Ronzo,
Yeah.
this has been RPCast.
Yeah, this is the Ronzo podcast, otherwise known as the RPcast.
Yeah.
Peace.
Later.
Bye.
Bye, Gems.
Bye, James.
Bye, Gems.
Bye, Gems. All right, cut it there.